Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel or my podcast if you're listening to my podcast. And I am so grateful and thankful to have you guys here and listening or watching like always. And this video is going to be about Princess Diana. And I did channel her energy when I was doing the other reading on Queen Elizabeth, and she started to talk to me about her life and the things that had happened to her in regards to the accident. And she did give me permission to channel this message to everybody. So I just want to say for my disclaimer that this video or this episode, if you're listening to my podcast, is going to be for entertainment purposes only. This is just alleged, and the information that I am receiving from Diana, because I was lucky enough to connect with her energy, but also my spirit guides who like to clarify things I'm not understanding the messages I am getting from spirit. So I do want to say also how thankful I am again for all of your guys' support and your kind messages. They mean so much to me, and I am just so grateful that I have such a amazing team and subscribers that follow me and that are all light workers and that all understand the intentions and my integrity behind everything. I'm so incredibly grateful for all of you, and I can't thank you enough, because when I started my channel, I had asked the universe or God or source or whoever you would like to call your higher power, to make sure that I had the most genuine and, I guess to say, most authentic subscribers that I could get, because for me that's really important. And part of my channel and the purpose of me starting my channel was to bring you guys to my channel to help you and guide you in regards to your spiritual journey, your spiritual awakenings, your spiritual gifts. That is a major part of my purpose, not only to voice and channel victims that were killed or lost their lives on this earth, which is also part of my purpose, is to advocate for them and be a medium and channel their messages to you guys. But the other reason is also to bring light workers and people who need my guidance and help. So that is what I had asked Source to bring to me for my channel. I really wanted, that was really important to me. So that is why the amount of love and comments and support you guys have given me have also been so amazing for me, because that is what I asked for. And I'm so amazed and blessed to have the connections I have with so many of you. Okay, so I'm really not that great at doing the mushy, thankful things, but I really am. I just feel so deeply touched by all of this, and I'm just so grateful. So I wanted to put that out there. Okay, so this is going to be a hard reading. This is not a light reading at all by any means, and Diana was extremely forward, as she was here in her human form with me, and she was extremely honest, and I really got to experience that amazing energy from her that others got to experience on earth when they came in contact with her or connected with her. She really does have such an amazing, genuine, and honest light and integrity about her, and she still does on the other side. And I'm not going to cry now, because I want to cry just not in a bad way, but in a good way, because her light and her just the beautiful amount of love surrounding her when I connected with her was just overwhelming. And I often cry when I connect with spirit. So that's why I like to write what I'm getting in my meditations down first, because if not, I'm just going to be a crying, blubbering mess to you guys. But I feel like crying now, just feeling that energy again. And it, when I connected with her, it was just overwhelming. So I just want to put it out there that this is not going to be a easy reading, and everyone has a right to their own thoughts and opinions. And I know since a lot of you are gifted, you probably also got different things on Princess Diana. or the same things as me, whatever it may be, but I'm going to give you what I received from her, okay? So getting into it, Diana was extremely adventurous when she was in her human form, and she was eccentric, and she was also a very, like I said, honest and human being. And she said that she was sort of laughing and saying, like, she couldn't help but to be honest. And that's how much of I'm going to say an angel. She was like an angel here on earth. That's how much of an angel she was. She could not lie, okay? So right away, she starts to talk to me about her and Charles' relationship. And she said that she felt like Charles was very cold, and she felt like she needed more from him on a regular basis in regards to their love and relationship. And she said she was trying to fight for that a lot of the times. But she was also extremely independent, so she wouldn't force him to be anything that he wasn't. And she did tell me that Charles was mentally and emotionally abusive, and that she told me she had mental breakdowns quite often when things started to get really bad between her and Charles, and that he was just a very realistic and logical person, and she was extremely eccentric, adventurous, outgoing, and he didn't like that about her. And she tells me she tried so hard to make it work between them. She really did, because when they first got together she's showing me her reaching her hand out of her car and him kissing her hand. And when they first started dating, she said she's seen such a gentleman and such a kind, gentle person, and that was what drawn her to him in the first place. And that was just all an act, she realized quite early on in the relationship. So yeah, she said that she would have, she just was depressed. She was depressed very early on in the relationship and the marriage. And she told me that when the boys were sent to a boarding school, that Prince Charles knew she couldn't be without them because being a mother was absolutely everything to her. And he knew this would cause her more anxiety and to have a mental breakdown, because he knew about her depression and her fight with her mental health. So he would use this against her. And so he used the children in a way to, I guess, make her feel more insane and take them away from her to cause her to to have more mental breakdowns. And this was a way of revenge for him. It makes me feel like this was a way for him to get back at her, just because he didn't like her. Like, he just never liked her or anything that she did, and almost like she never did what she was told. That's the type of feeling she's giving me, and he wanted to get revenge on her all the time. And he knew that being a mother was everything to her, so he knew this would affect her. And eventually, it was Charles who wanted a divorce, and she wanted to fight for the marriage, especially for her children, she said. And the Queen made Diana feel often like that wasn't an option, because it would look bad on the crown if they divorced. And then the Queen would use her relationship and her marriage and the examples of the affairs that happened between her and her husband as an example to say that, they still stuck together, and that's what Diana and Prince Charles should do as well, and that they should just forgive each other, and that cheating was a normal thing in relationships, and that she was being too sensitive about it, okay? So she's making me feel like everyone made her feel like she was too sensitive all the time, like she was a wacko, like she was crazy, and she felt so lost and out of place, and she just wanted out of it. She said she did everything she could to please Charles so that he would not insult her, because he was emotionally abusive, and he would tell her like how much he wasn't in love with her, and he would compare the other females that he was cheating on her with to her often. And one of those females I now know is Camilla. So Diana was miserable, but she still put on a smile for the world and for her kids. That was just the nature of her, okay? She was a pure light worker, a pure angel. And she brought light into this world. That was her purpose, part of her purpose here. And Charles was dark, okay? He was in this world for himself. He was selfish. And it was hard for her to understand his views and his perspective on life. And she was constantly threatened by members of the royal family that there was no getting out of the royal family once you were already in it. It was almost like a cult-like energy. And she was scared, and she knew she was just an asset. No one really loved her in that family. She just felt like such an outsider all the time. And I do want to say that this is a common feeling for light workers and empaths, for us to feel like this. And that's exactly what she was. And she was vibrating on a higher dimension. She was just always happy and so pure and innocent. And she tells me that she was told to act right and do as she was told often by the royal family, especially Prince Charles and the Queen. And Diana started to hear things, pick up on things through her intuition that were wrong in regards to the royal family and their relationships and situations that were happening at the time. And this is also why she was threatened constantly to keep her mouth shut and be quiet, because they knew the nature of her personality and how honest and she was, and they knew that they were afraid that she might speak up and tell people about the things that she knew that was going on, that were being held secrets from the public in regards to the royal family. And she said that she just knew things when I asked her the type of things that she knew. She said, I just knew. And she could feel how hated she was in the royal family by people. So when I asked her, what type of things that she knew, as a lot of you know, I am clairvoyant, and I did receive a vision in that moment, in regards to Prince Andrew and the picture that was released to the public of him with an underage girl that was taken at Epstein's Island. That was the image that I received. And I don't think that Princess Diana was trying to give me this image. I think it was more my spirit guides when I asked what type of things that she knew. So this is all, like I said, alleged and things that I am getting from my spirit guides and from channeling the energy from Diana. So the royal family attempted to break her mental health by calling her crazy, using her emotions because she was emotional against her, and constantly telling her she was crazy and that she was just a wacko. And they were hoping that the more they did this, the more it would make her look like an unstable person to the public in case she did speak out. And they didn't want anyone to take her seriously in case she did speak up about the things that she knew. Diana eventually moved on, as we know, after her and Prince Charles separated with another man, and she became very happy. And she tells me telepathically, we were having a telepathic conversation, and she says to me that once this happened, the royal family felt even more like they couldn't keep her in control, and they couldn't have a grasp on her or look out for her, and I guess keep track of what she was doing and things that she was saying, because she is showing me her sitting on her bed, I believe in the castle, and showing me cameras, little cameras in her room, she was always being watched. So I'm not sure if there was actually cameras and she was being watched, but she definitely felt like she was being watched for sure. And they were just always keeping a close eye on her to make sure she didn't say or do anything. And when she moved on and became happy and started dating this new man that she went on the holiday with, this is when they started to feel like, oh my goodness, what if she, we can't keep an eye out for her. And this is when she tells me when all attempts failed to keep her in check and they were no longer had control over her and she was doing her own thing and being happy, they had to do the next best thing. And when I asked her what this next best thing was, she said it happened after she spoke up about her and Prince Charles having their affairs. And she's showing me like her in a talk show or like a news broadcasting on like the news, and she's speaking about the affairs. And this was obviously extremely devastating and made the crown look bad, according to Queen Elizabeth and the royal family. I'm not going to say everyone in the royal family. That's not. She's even like giving me the impression that she's not accusing everyone in the royal family. She's saying that when she spoke up about this is when they went to the next best thing they could do. And this is when she starts to talk about the accident. And she says that she just knew that eventually she would pass away. And she didn't know if that would be in a car crash or in a helicopter, an airplane. She didn't know, but that she intuitively knew this, and that she did pick up on people in the royal family talking about this. I'm not going to point fingers or accuse anybody. And also, she's saying that Prince Charles would threaten her, like he was going to get rid of her often. And she was always scared, like just, I want to cry, because she was just always so fearful and scared all the time. And even more so when she did move on and be happy, even though she was happy, she said she always had that intuition that something was going to happen to her. She also tells me that she had, like, I start to get a lot of tightness and I can't breathe in my chest. And then when I ask her what that is, she said that she had heart issues. And then she tells me she was denied health care for her complaints, when she would complain about cramping in her heart, and people would just tell her it was nothing, or that she didn't need to go see the doctor. And she said because she was just so, I don't know, busy with her duties as the Princess of Wales. It's almost like she's saying that she just never really got around to getting her heart checked out, but also people were steering her away from going to the doctor about that. So I don't know exactly what was going on with that, but she's saying she had some heart issues before she passed away. And then when I start to ask her more about the accident, and she does tell me that people were paid. There was a lot of people paid, she said. And she's not going to say names because that's not relevant, because she said that they're going to get their karma either way, no matter what happens. So we don't need to say their names, and I respect that and appreciate that. So she did say that people were paid, though, in regards to her accident and other things that were going on in regards to her and things that she was trying to get out into the public. And so she's like showing me that there was a lot of, like, I see a vision of lots of money being handed back and forth. There was a lot of money exchanges, people being paid to shut up, people being paid to do things, not say things, etc. But she did say that people were paid to make it look like an accident or death, okay? So we start to talk more about the light worker aspect about her, and she's telling me how she had the precognition about her passing away for a while, a couple of years before her death. And this was because she's telling me she was gifted and she was psychic and she could pick up on things before they happened. And when she did express this to people, nobody believed her, so she only expressed it to a couple good friends, she's telling me. And she says that it wasn't just things that she heard in regards to the accident being planned. It was things about, things that she was gifted. So she could pick up on energy, sort of like I can. And that's what she was trying to explain to me when she was telling me this, that she was psychic and gifted. And the last thing that she does tell me was that I asked her about the note, because I know she wrote a note saying that somebody was going to do this to her. And she does say that the note was real, and that it was not handed to investigators for a long time because these people were also being paid to not expose it, to not let anyone see it. But then she says, but truth always comes to the surface, and that is exactly what had happened with that. So we talk a little bit more about, the other side and how she guides other people in the same situations that she was in regards to her lifetime here. And other things that I don't want to mention because they don't need to be mentioned, and they're just personal things that she doesn't really want me to say, so I'm not going to say them. But that's about it for the reading on Princess Diana, everybody. And this was a hard one for me to do because it is such a touchy subject, the Princess Diana and the royal family. So, but it was important for me to get that out because when I did channel her, that is the main reason why she wanted to tell me this information. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will speak to you guys in my next video. Subscribe, like, share, please. I don't ask for that often anymore, but it really helps my channel, and it helps bring my readings to other light workers and people who need to see my guidance and my teachings. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye, everybody.